Okay. I hear you. No more top 10 lists for a while. Hey everyone, welcome back to Andrew's Wizardly Reads, and as always, guys, I am Andrew, and today I have got my final top 10 list of 2021. But before we get into that, make sure you are liking and subscribing, hitting that bell notification so you can get regular updates for when I put out new content, episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Also, make sure you're checking that description box down below for the link to the Wizardly Duo Discord, as well as information about my Patreon and links to all of my social media. And I didn't know if I was going to go ahead and do this one because I went ahead and I put out my top 10 list, my top 10 books of 2021, which some of these will appear in. And then I kind of put out on the community tab of like, hey guys, are you sick of top 10 lists for a little bit? Or can you not get enough of them? Because I had my Q4, I did Q1, Q2, Q3. It seems kind of odd to leave off Q4. And it was about a 60-40 split. So this is for the 60% of you who wanted this. These are my top 10 books of Q4 2021. Just kind of wrapping it all up in a nice, neat little bow, making sure we're getting all that content out there. I'll tell you what, I didn't realize how much end-of-year content there was to make. But without any further ado, let's talk about some books. These are in no particular order. So these are top 10, and I tried to just not let a single author inundate the list because I've read 5 Cradle books in Q4, and I loved a bunch of Cradle. So only one of those will appear. This one also appeared in my top 10, but we'll get to that. This was an honorable mention in the top 10 of the year, and that is Shadow and Betrayal. This is book 1 and 2 of the Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abraham. And I've described this as basically like a political Rube Goldberg machine. You just push the marble and then ding, 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 and you topple an empire almost. It's really, really interesting. The way that Daniel Abraham is able to set about a small event to then trigger a much larger event. It really shows that there are real world comparisons where just the death of a single individual can trigger a world war. We've actually in real life seen this, and he does stuff like that masterfully in here. And so our characters Mati and Ota are constantly just scrambling, trying to basically prevent these things from happening. And it's just such a fun read. This isn't for everybody. These are very character-driven stories with very nuanced plot. And so a lot of people might read this and go, there's nothing going on. But there is stuff going on. It's just not all the time. It's not swashbuckling. It's not, sword fights and things of that nature. Sometimes it could be a little boring. I'm sitting there and having a kind of conversation about what have you, and poets and ondots and all of that nature. And it's really, really intriguing fantasy. Shocking Nobody. A City Watch book makes the list. This is the 8th book in the City Watch. This is Snuff. This is the final City Watch book, where basically Commander Samuel Vimes, Ink Mork Pork, is forced to go on vacation. And guys, if you know anything about Sam Vimes, you know he doesn't take vacation. And so hilarity ensues. We also this is like Light Night Watch. This is another deep dive into Sam Vimes' psyche and his issues with rage and social injustice. He was very much where he starts out in our watch books to where he is now. We've had 8 books with Sam Vimes, and if it had to end somewhere, I'm glad it ended here because this is such a high note. It deals with his rage. It deals with justice, or justice! Justice! If you've read the book, you'll understand. And yeah, I love this book. I absolutely loved Snuff. The City Watch books are definitely a collection in Discworld that, even if I never read another Discworld book outside of the City Watch, which is already not true. I'm halfway through the Death Collection. I will always come back to the City Watch because I love Sam Vimes. And then, again, appearing from the top 10 list, this was my book of the year for 2021. And this is Riven World Book 1. This was initially put out as a standalone. This is Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer. Guys, this book means so much to me because I am a person on the spectrum, and the main character in this book is very much on the spectrum. And what he goes through, like, even though he is a chosen one, this does use the chosen one trope, he still struggles with feelings of self-doubt and is he worth it? And, he struggles with girls like him. Like, he just doesn't think he's worthy of a female's attention. Like, he just has so much self-confidence issues. And the way he overcomes these struggles and what he values most in his life just hit me right where I live. The last 70% of this book is absolutely phenomenal. There's a couple character inconsistencies, as I've said. The villains are, sometimes villainous, sometimes not, but then they are villainous. And then, there's a couple pacing issues right at the beginning where it's kind of trying to get the story moving. And so, I still really enjoyed the beginning of this book. There's just that small section where I'm like, maybe that could have just been a tad bit more polished. But overall, this is a very personal top book of 2021 for me. If you want to read something that is very much a traditional fantasy, but at the same time has, a nice twist, where you get to see that your protagonist really struggle with finding out who he is and where he fits in, and just... it's so good, and I don't want to ramble on about this, but it's a beautiful book, and I highly, highly recommend you read it. Alright, this did not make either of my previous top 10s, mainly because the final book fell a little flat for me, and so it kind of soured the series. However, I would be lying if I said The Hod King by Josiah Bancroft was not an amazing, amazing book. Just the way this book is structured, what our people go through in this book is just heart-wrenching and shocking at moments. Like, what Senlin Ascends in the Books of Babel really, really accomplished is taking this whimsical, kind of steampunky fantasy story and then just inserting these really dark, hard-hitting moments that kind of shock you into paying attention that this is, in fact, a story to be reckoned with. I did think that the follow-up to this, The Fall of Babel, which closed out the quartet, had a very weak opening and kind of a weak ending. Still a good book, but overall, I think it peaked here at Hod King. Alright, and then surprising nobody again, we've got Zach Argyle's Stones of Light. I've talked about this a whole bunch. I really, really enjoy Threadlight. During the top 10, I asked Zach if I could have a Chroma Wolf, and he photoshopped my face onto this cover, because this is a Chroma Wolf, and he's like, I can't give you a Chroma Wolf, but how about this? And yeah, so there's a nice little joke on Twitter if you care to go look for it. I tweeted it. I don't think I've ever looked prettier, and it's this cover. Guys, I love this story. If the step up in quality from book 1 to 2 is indicative of what I can expect from books 2 to 3, I am going to be blown away. I think we're getting book 3. I am just reaching for a date. I think August 2022 is what I think I've seen. But you can bet I'll be getting these nice hardcovers. Just, I love these they're short stories, and the emotional punches and the beats that are in these. Alvarez is an amazing character. Chris is an amazing character. I am really loving this world and everything involved. Alright, and again, surprising nobody, Daniel Barnett. I love Daniel. He is an amazing individual, a fantastic author. This is Lily, the 6th book in the Nightmareland Chronicles, the first full-length novel size. And guys, I'm acknowledged in the back of this book. I didn't know about it until a month after I had received the arc. Usually I don't read the acknowledgements. And so when Leslie was like, hey, I'm acknowledged in the acknowledgements, I was like, oh cool, I want to go see if what Leslie's acknowledgement. And then I saw my name and my jaw dropped, I was shocked. I love this book. I don't want to talk too whole much about it because this is the culmination of 5 novellas and a 6th book, really chronicling Mariah and just John's entire journey. It is absolutely wild what goes through this. All I can say is, if you are reading Nightmareland Chronicles and you are expecting an explosive finale to the first arc, you got it. It's an absolute banger. It slaps! Bam! Ouch! Ow. I won't do that again. Alright, and then I mentioned Will White. Of course, this one appeared in my top 10 books of the year. This is Winterfell by Will White. And what was so cool about this is I've discovered a passion for progression fantasy. And Cradle just scratches that itch so well. And guys, like, in Winterfell, I mean, this is book 8. I don't really want to, harp on it too much because, there's 7 books I could spoil potentially talking about this. I will say that, we get Lyndon and Dross separated from Yaren for, like, I think only the second time in the series. And just when it's just Lyndon and Dross, we get so much comedic banter. I absolutely love it. We get some great Yaren moments. We get a lot of character growth. We get to really see these characters grow separately. And it's just fantastic because they kind of discover what they mean to each other and what it means to come back and what it means to support your friends and, how they learn to grow. This is where we really see them kind of grow up. And I really, 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 really enjoyed Winterfell. So I'll not harp on Cradle because y'all know I'm like a Cradle fanboy. We got 2 more books here. Or 3. I lied. Again, why do I keep lying? Why do I keep slapping this hand? It hurts. Okay. Guns of the Dawn, Adrian Tchaikovsky. I have talked about this. This is a mishmash of historical fiction and fantasy. It's got that kind of historical feel and with like a little bit of a military vibe. It's got that kind of Band of Brothers feel to it for me. Like, that kind of overcast, gray, swampy, just, in the trenches. I really, really enjoy this. Emily Marshwick is a fantastic female protagonist. I really, really enjoyed this. This made my top 10 of the year, and it also makes my top 10 of Q4. Shocking? Nobody! Moving on. I love Adrian Tchaikovsky's writing. I've got so many Tchaikovsky books that I still haven't read. What am I doing with my life? Alright, and then this one, I just recently dropped my review for this. Making my top 10 is The Seventh Cadence by Jem Wilborn. Guys, this is a fantastic book. Navid and just all of these characters are so cool. The Wizard Titan is a aspect of this book that I absolutely love. Essentially, it has got a wizard that is a deity. There is no wizard school. There is no order of mages. There is no order of wizards. There is no, forgotten... No, there is one dude. One dude, the Wizard Titan. And then everybody else is just prophets, seers, keepers. It's so good. I am excited to continue the Continua Chronicles. I think there are 4 more books due to be released over the next few years. I am super excited. Super excited. All right, now we are on our last book. And this got an honorable mention. This is the book that got me back into Stephen King. And that is It. Stephen King's It. Guys, Pennywise, this is a book that intimidated me for over 20 years. I had a buddy who used to read this. We had assigned reading time in middle school. And we'd have to sit in the middle of the gym floor. And I'd always look over at my buddy. And he'd just be sitting there reading Stephen King's It. Which, in hindsight, after reading this, is probably not appropriate reading for a middle schooler. But guys, this is a fantastic story. I also listened to the audiobook. That audiobook is so good. Don't listen to it with speakers on. Put in earbuds. It's got strong themes, strong language. You will get weird looks if you walk around blaring Stephen King's It, just because of the themes and everything that's addressed within this book. But overall, I just really loved the jumping timelines, the transitions, the coming together. It was all coming of age, just fantastic. That said, guys, that is my top 10 Q4 book list for 2021, officially closing down the year. Let me know in the comments section down below what your top 10 Q4 reads were. I would love to have a great old discussion. And as always, guys, till next time, peace out, stay magical, bye. And as always, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons.